Hi guys, I'm Forster here with another fountain pen review. Now just recently you've seen me review each of these three high-end fountain pens. The Mont Blanc 149, the Pelikan M1000, and the Namiki Yukari Royale. Well, what would you say if I guaranteed that this $10 Jinhao X159 has more bang for the buck than any of these three high-end pens? Now, does that surprise you? Well, I didn't say that it was the best fountain pen of these. I just said that it had the best value. It's a great starter pen for someone new to fountain pens or a good daily writer for a fountain pen enthusiast. Let's go inside and look at it in more detail. This is my very first Jinhao fountain pen. I bought it at the Raleigh-Durham Pen Show last June. Now, when I saw it sitting on the display table just like this, I thought it was possibly a Sailor King of pen. But when I picked it up and asked about the price, the vendor said it was $15. No way that's a king of pen. I bought it on a lark, and I figured it would make an interesting video comparing it to other pens in my collection. But on this video, I'm just going to focus on this Jinhao. Now this pen came in a very simple plastic sleeve, so there's no box to show you. There's the identification information on that sleeve. Now I chose this burnt orange color just to liven up my pen collection. It's a basic cigar-shaped pen, very similar in size at least to the Mont Blanc 149. Now it's a lightweight pen made of resin, and the quality of the pen is just fine. The only noticeable manufacturing mark that I've been able to find is on the barrel, at the bottom cap of the barrel right there. The clip is very sturdy. I think it'll hold up to use. And on the cap band, it simply says Jinhao. If you rotate it on around, it's X159. Now the pen uncaps in just a little over 2 turns. So there's 1, there's 2, and it's off. Maybe 2 1/4. Now this is a cartridge converter pen. It comes with a Jinhao converter. There I think you can see the name Jinhao on it. I have it filled up with diamine blue-black ink currently, and I will say that it holds an ample amount of ink for my use. Now there is one consideration that you might have to take when buying this pen, because it does come in a variety of colors. If you want to use a darker ink, you might want to pick a darker color pen. I use this dark ink with it, and you might notice that the threads right here have been stained, but the section also gets stained with this darker ink. Now it wouldn't matter so much if I was matching the ink to the pen color. I want to cover the nib. It has a very attractive nib. It's large. It's a size 8 nib and it's steel. This one is in fine. Let me make sure that I got it in focus for you. It's an attractive two-tone finish. And if you look closely, you can see a winter scene of a horse and buggy on the nib. From my experience, this nib has been a very dependable writer for me, but you can see for yourself in the writing samples next. I've decided to do my writing sample a little bit differently than what I've done in the past, mainly reposition the camera so you can see it a little bit better, and also, instead of writing about that dog and fox, maybe give you a little bit of information about myself. But this is the Jinhao. And notice no hard starts at all. It starts right up and it doesn't skip. It's the X159, and this is a fine steel nib. And I'm writing on Tomoe River paper. And the ink, as I've said, is diamine, blue-black ink. And I always like to show you the color of it, and you can see it right here. It's got It's a dark, it's got more black, but it does have some blue shading to it. All right, and just to give you an example, it puts down a heavy line, but it doesn't skip. Let me go backwards. That's a little bit lighter. Okay, so there it's skipping a little bit. Writing backwards was a little bit of a problem. Upside down or backwards writing. Reverse writing. I'll get it right eventually. Okay, so here's a little, well, let me do this doodle. Okay, so that's the writing sampled, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a little bit about myself maybe. And now I live in South Carolina, but for about 6 years, 5 or 6 years, I lived in Illinois. And Illinois, Towanda, Illinois. My wife's name is Wanda. I don't know if that's why I married her, but I lived in Towanda for 6 years. And it was a farming community. Very small town. I've been back once since we moved away. Lived there, I'm just going to guess, I'll say the early 1960s. I know I went to kindergarten through probably the 3rd grade there, something like that. And a memory that I have of Towanda, I'll write that as a writing sample. I remember school letting out when President Kennedy was assassinated. I actually ran home. I can remember running home to watch the news on TV with my family. So there you have it. I would ask you what's not to like about this $10 fountain pen. I'll put a link in the video description box to where you can buy one on Amazon. It's a solid pen at a great price. Y'all take care.